pandemic has proven that no scientist, no politician, no matter how powerful, even if you are an emperor, even if you are a ruler of billions of people, no matter how many citizens are under you in the country, wherever you are, begin to submit right now and understand that there are also powers that are above you, and submit and come to accepting that this is the time you should yield to the powers that be. Greetings, special people on the internet, and welcome back to this series, Coronavirus Revealed. Today I would like to just cover up on a question that I received pertaining the first video that I published, that was simply saying there is no reason to be afraid, there is no reason to panic. Okay, so somebody was asking me, do I have the solution that I have to tell people that they should not be afraid? Okay, there are certain reasons pertaining to why I said you should not be afraid, because the word fear itself, to my understanding, it is the arousal of some certain negative emotions into the self when you are expecting something dangerous to happen or to fall upon you or upon the people you actually love, or to just happen that is not something that is not comfortable, that you are not comfortable with if it happens. Whenever you are afraid, there is something that happens, and I'm going to actually articulate on those things that basically happen. Defined the word fear as an acronym, and he said the word fear simply means false evidence appearing real. So in this regards, this disease, evidence that it exists because we have seen people die. The scientists can actually do their methods of actually understanding it, but we cannot say we have seen it if scientists have seen it, because they have methods of seeing it which we, the common man, cannot actually be able to use those methods and be able to see. I would like to say we are just afraid of something that we do not have control over. This is what I simply want to say. We are actually panicking. And when we panic and we are afraid of something, we are failing to understand something. Worldwide, of all the 7.5 billion people under the sun, we all should understand there is one circumstance that we can never be able to control. And this one circumstance that we can never be able to control is called death. Nobody can control death, but everybody can simply anticipate death, because we cannot control death. Okay, so what we only need to do in such circumstances is to surrender and submit. Why surrendering? You are saying this is not for me to solve, but I am submitting, therefore, because I understand that there is somebody who is able to control these kind of circumstances, and that if it is a person, I can say it's one person who is the creator, or if it is a being, I can say it's one being who is the creator. He is above such circumstances, and he is able or capable of controlling such circumstances. So you need to surrender and know things that you are able to solve and things that you are not able. Don't try to think that you are superior and you can get in charge of everything. It's not everything that we can be in charge of. So this is one of the biggest reasons you should not be afraid. Because when you begin to submit after surrendering, you are yielding in to the powers that be, to the superior powers that can solve it. And actually, I actually discovered it in my experiences in many cases, that in many cases, whenever I'm afraid of something, and whenever I try to apply too much of my effort in solving something and fail, and begin to get worried on how I can solve it, the situation escalates. But when I begin to yield in and to accept that no, I cannot solve it, that's when the solutions begin to well up. So the other reason, this leads us to the second reason. The other reason you should not be afraid is because you need to actually apply your mind. Usually when you are afraid, your mind gets to retreat and surrenders, and you fail to relax and think of a solution. And when you are afraid, normally you try to solve things in haste and without proper thinking. And when you try to solve something in haste, you are going to make mistakes and you are going to fail to solve it as well. So this is what I would like to say. You should not be afraid, and you should also be able to accept things that are beyond your ability. And you should not try to think that you are superior and be able to solve everything. This is pertaining to everybody, because this coronavirus is actually affecting everybody under the sun right now. And even our governments, our scientists, they should know that they should relax and give proper thinking and come out with proper solutions to this thing. And you will be surprised in many cases that the things that you think are too complex to solve are the things that will be solved by very, very interesting and very simple solutions. So you become foolish by the end of the day. It's like computer programming sometimes. When I'm sitting on my computer and I'm trying to solve a certain algorithm, I end up to see, is it me who was failing to solve this? Yes, it's you. Why? Because you try to solve it when you are worried. But now you have relaxed and you see that the solution is very, very simple. Okay, if you think you can solve it, are you actually sure that you can solve it? If the answer is yes, why are you afraid? If the answer is no, why are you afraid? That is to say, yield and understand things that you can solve and things that you cannot solve. Okay, another thing that I would like to raise, you should understand that the thief comes not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I'm quoting the Bible in this sense. Jesus said the thief comes not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So that which gives you fear is not you, is not the positive spirit, but is the negative spirit, is the powers of darkness that are controlling, that are ruling. So that is why you are afraid. So you should not allow to be ruled by the powers of darkness, because you are not the powers of darkness. You neither do you have any relationship with the powers of darkness, but you are from the powers of light, and that which made you exist is light. So the light that made you exist is the same light that is going to light upon the darkness that you are seeing and give what? Light. So you should not be afraid, because the purpose of the devil giving you fear is because he wants you to what? To surrender unto him. He wants you to yield to his powers instead of you yielding to the powers that you know, the powers that you should yield to. So there is only one authority that you should yield to. Okay, so you should not be afraid. We were not given the spirit of fear. The Bible says we were not given the spirit of fear, but rather we were given the spirit of a sound mind. So the spirit of fear is only there to cripple you, and yet you have a sound mind which is meant for you to be able to give solutions to the crisis that be. So if you are afraid, you should remember that you are actually yielding to the wrong power, to the wrong to negative energy, if I can say. Another thing that I would like to also raise over here is what will happen if, say for instance, you don't know whether you are negative or positive when it comes to coronavirus. And what will happen if you are told after testing that you are coronavirus positive, yet you are afraid of it? What will happen? You panic, you get shocked, and you probably die. And what will kill you here is not coronavirus, it will be the fear that will be killing you. So you should not be afraid, but you should prepare yourself so that even when you get to understand that you have it, you won't panic. You will be able to accept it and be able to know how to deal with it, rather than to be killed by two things, fear and the disease itself. Then, for those who have it right now, you have seen a lot of people dying of it, and if you are afraid, what will come to your mind? You probably think that you are no longer going to live. You are actually expecting death. But what does the Bible say? The power of life and death lies on the tongue, and them who want it will eat the fruits thereof. So which fruit do you want to eat? You speak what you want. Having it doesn't mean that you are going to die. We have received reports of several people, dozens of people, thousands of people who recovered from it. So you should not be afraid, because you need to relax, calm down, and understand that you are there to live, to declare the glory of God. Because the Bible says that you will not die, but you will live to proclaim His glory. What if it is only there for you to testify that you have escaped from this dangerous and aggressive virus? So relax, do not be afraid. The thing that I would like to touch at last is that this one is most important of all. I have got two F's here. Fear destroys faith. Fear and faith, these two things, no matter which religion you are in, this has nothing to do with religion, because every person lives by hope, lives by faith. So if you have fear, your hope will be suppressed, or your hopes will be destroyed, your fear will be destroyed. But the only fuel that makes us alive as beings is not food, is faith. Believing, faith. So whenever you begin to be afraid, you are actually destroying your faith. Your faith is the basis or the ground upon which you are standing. So if the ground upon which you are standing is taken off, you collapse into the pit. And when you collapse into the pit, what will happen? So ladies and gentlemen, when you are facing these challenges, we know that many lives are perishing. Many people are dying out there. Many people are feeling pains. We actually mourn with those who are mourning, and we are actually with you, those who are in pains. But understand that you should not be afraid. You should not be afraid. Let me actually say it at last. When you even start believing, and when you even start removing all the fears, you even come to an understand and believe that you cannot even contract it. So do not be afraid. Only know that you cannot contract this. This is not your portion. Your portion is to live. Your portion is to declare the glory of God, because the reason God put human beings under the sun is for them to portray His glory. So just stand on the right positions, on the right position. For those people who are still thinking that they have all the power to rule and control the world into their hands, please, I say to you, wherever you are, it's time now to begin to submit, because this pandemic has proven that no scientist, no politician, no matter how powerful, even if you are an emperor, even if you are a ruler of billions of people, no matter how many citizens are under you in the country, wherever you are, begin to submit right now and understand that there are also powers that are above you, and submit and come to accepting that this is the time you should yield to the powers that be. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye, cheers.